There are moments in life when everything feels uncertain, when our desires are strong, but clarity feels distant. We've all wrestled with the question, is this person meant for me? And we've all looked to heaven with hope in our eyes, waiting for a sign, waiting for confirmation. But when God wants you with someone, it's not always going to be loud. It won't always come with fireworks or sudden moments of clarity. Sometimes it begins with peace. Not peace as the world gives, not the absence of conflict, but the divine, quiet, anchoring kind of peace that whispers to your soul, you are safe here. When God orchestrates a union, the first thing he does is speak to your spirit. He doesn't just appeal to your feelings, because feelings are fickle. They change with time, with mood, with fear. But God speaks to something deeper than that. He speaks to the knowing within you, the part of you that is tuned to his frequency. And when that connection is divine, your spirit will recognize it even before your mind does. When God is in it, you'll notice how the relationship calls you to your higher self. It won't feel like striving. It won't feel like you have to bend who you are to fit someone else's mold. When God wants you with someone, they will see the real you and still choose you. Not the curated version. Not the person you try to be when you're afraid of rejection, but the version of you that is honest, vulnerable, and sometimes still healing. That person will be embraced, not judged, supported, not fixed, and loved, not just liked. There's a sacred difference between human desire and divine alignment. So many of us chase the person who looks right on paper. They have the background, the career, the charm, the personality. But when God wants you with someone, alignment will override appearance. You will find that you are connected on levels words can't always explain. There will be a shared purpose, sometimes before you even realize your own. That person will challenge you, not in the way that leaves you wounded, but in the way that grows you. They will not compete with your calling. They will water it. We've been taught to look for compatibility, and yes, that matters. But divine connection isn't just about likes and dislikes. It's about legacy. When God joins two people together, he's not just thinking about today. He's thinking about generations. He's thinking about impact. And you'll know it's him because your union will become a vessel through which heaven touches earth. You'll find that the relationship doesn't drain you. It fuels you. It doesn't distract you. It sharpens your focus. And more than anything, it doesn't pull you away from God. It draws you closer. So many of us ask, oh God, if this is the one, why is it so hard? But what we fail to understand is that even the right person comes with a process. Divine does not mean easy. It means purposeful. When God writes a love story, he allows it to be refined by time, tested by circumstance, and strengthened by faith. You will face obstacles, not to destroy what you have, but to prove the foundation it stands on. Because God is not just interested in chemistry. He is invested in covenant. Sometimes the delays are divine. Sometimes when you don't understand why it's taking so long, it's because God is doing work in both hearts. He's preparing both of you, even if you don't yet know each other. And when the timing is right, you'll see why the waiting was necessary. You'll see how he had to grow you, prune you, teach you how to be whole so that you don't bleed your wounds into the person who is supposed to walk beside you. God is not a God of confusion. He is the God of clarity. And when he wants you with someone, he will make sure that clarity arrives. Even if it comes gradually, even if it comes through doors you never expected. It's easy to say we trust God until he asks us to wait, until he asks us to let go, until he asks us to believe that something better is coming even while our hearts are breaking. But that's what faith is. Faith is believing in what we cannot see and trusting the one who sees everything. When it's the right person at the wrong time, God will tell you. And when it's the right time but the wrong person, he will tell you too. Because he loves you too much to let you settle for potential when he's already prepared promise. When God is in the center of a relationship, he brings order, not control, order. You'll notice that there's space for both of you to thrive. There's mutual respect. There's deep friendship. There's honest communication. And more than anything, there's fruit. You will see the fruit of peace, patience, joy, and growth. Not just when things are good, but especially when they are not. Because real love isn't proven in perfect moments. It's proven in perseverance. And God will allow challenges not to push you apart, but to teach you how to stay together. When he wants you with someone, the confirmation will not only come through emotion, it will come through conviction. Others around you will see it, not because it looks impressive, but because it looks like love, real love, godly love. The kind that makes people believe in marriage again. The kind that models humility, forgiveness, and trust. The kind that shines a light so bright others are inspired to seek God, not just a relationship. There will be divine interruption. Maybe you weren't even looking for love. Maybe you had buried that dream. But God will breathe life into it again when He's ready. He doesn't need your timeline. He needs your surrender. He needs you to say, even if it doesn't look like I imagined, I trust you. Even if it doesn't come the way I planned, I trust you. And in that surrender, you'll find that what He gives is better than anything you could have forced. When God wants you with someone, there is favor. There is grace. There is covering. There are open doors that you didn't even knock on, not because you're perfect, but because you're positioned. Positioned in obedience, positioned in faith, positioned in humility. You will look back and realize that all the no's led you to the right yes. Every heartbreak was not a punishment. It was a redirection. Every detour was not a delay. It was protection. It won't be a connection built on ego. It won't be one where you have to pretend, perform, or prove your worth. Because when God puts two people together, they see each other's soul, not just their surface. They hear each other's silence. They speak life when the other forgets their own voice. They pray together. They fight together. They build together. They dream not just for themselves, but for what God wants to do through them. There will be moments of doubt. That's normal. But even in the doubt, there will be a deeper assurance. You'll realize that the connection is not fragile. It doesn't break every time life hits hard because it wasn't built on feelings. It was built on faith. And faith, when rooted in God, does not fail. It endures. Let me tell you something. God is not just writing your love story. He's weaving it into His purpose. That's why it matters who you choose. That's why it matters to wait on His timing. Because love that is anointed doesn't just bless you. It blesses everyone around you. Your relationship becomes a testimony. It becomes a safe place, not just for each other, but for the presence of God to dwell. And in a world where so much is fake, shallow, and fleeting, that kind of love stands out. That kind of love reflects heaven. You don't have to beg for what God is preparing. You don't have to chase after what's meant to find you. And you certainly don't have to fear losing what God has already written into your story. When God wants you with someone, He will speak. He will confirm. He will open doors. And even if there are battles, He will give you strength for them. Because He doesn't just give you someone to love. He gives you someone to war with, someone to cover you, someone to see your wounds and not run, someone to speak to your destiny when you forget who you are. There is a cost to waiting for God's best, yes, but the reward is unmatched. It's peace in your spirit. It's joy that lasts. It's purpose fulfilled. It's knowing that you didn't settle. It's knowing that you trusted the author of your life to also write this chapter. So breathe, let go of fear, let go of pressure, let go of comparison. What's yours cannot miss you. And maybe right now, you're still in the season of preparation. Maybe you feel like you've waited long enough, but I need you to understand, every second in God's process has purpose. Every lesson, every tear, every lonely night, it's not in vain. He's building something that will last. He's healing the broken parts. He's aligning your heart with His. And when it happens, it won't just feel right. It will be right. When God wants you with someone, your souls will meet before your eyes ever do. And when you finally stand face to face, it won't just feel like a new beginning. It will feel like coming home. Because what God joins together, no man can tear apart. And when He says, this is the one, everything in your spirit will know this is love and this is God. Maybe you're still wondering how to recognize that it's really God. You've seen stories of people who were sure, only to end up shattered. You've heard sermons and read scriptures, yet your heart still trembles with questions. What if I get it wrong? What if I love someone who isn't mine to love? But let me tell you, God is not the author of confusion. When He moves, it may not always be immediate understanding, but it will bring alignment. There will be a consistent thread of peace woven through every layer of the relationship. Even if storms come, and they will, you will not feel like you are holding it together alone. You will feel a divine reinforcement, a strength not your own, holding you both in place. When it's of God, timing becomes an act of worship. You stop rushing, stop grasping, stop demanding. You start surrendering. There's a beauty in the waiting that only those with spiritual eyes can see. The world may not understand it. Friends may ask you why you're waiting for someone who hasn't come, but they don't hear what you hear. They don't know the promises God whispered into your spirit when no one else was around. They don't know the tears you've cried in private, the prayers you've whispered through trembling lips. They don't know the visions you've had, not of a wedding day, but of a marriage that reflects eternity. You see, love that comes from God doesn't just hold your hand, it holds your soul. It speaks your language even in silence. It draws out the gold in you, even when you're buried beneath insecurity or fear. And when God puts you with someone, He gives you a partner in purpose, not just a lover, not just a spouse, but a co-laborer in His kingdom. They won't just say, AC, I love you. They'll say, see you. I stand with you. I will carry your dreams when you're too tired. I will remind you of who you are when you forget. Sometimes that kind of connection is hidden in plain sight. It doesn't always come with a grand entrance. Sometimes it shows up quietly, like a whisper on the wind. And it grows not through dramatic gestures, but through consistency, through mutual honor, through shared values. When God is in it, the relationship becomes a sacred ground. You don't walk on it with pride, you tread gently with reverence. Because you know this is not ordinary, this is divine. There will be days when it's hard, days when your wounds want to speak louder than your wisdom, but the person God sends will be willing to stay. They will be patient with your healing. They will hold your hand and not just say, get over it, but instead said, let's walk through this together. And you will do the same for them, because love is not the absence of brokenness. Love is the willingness to meet each other in the mess and still choose each other, day after day, moment after moment. You may not recognize them at first. You might meet them in a season when your heart isn't open yet. You might cross paths and not know that your destinies are entangled by divine design. But God is never late. And when it's time, He will open your eyes. He will bring it back around. What is meant for you will circle back, not as punishment for missed moments, but as confirmation of divine providence. And when it does, you will understand why it didn't work out with anyone else. You will understand why you had to go through that season of silence, why God closed that door, why the one you thought wasn't the 1% had to walk away. Because God is too intentional to let you settle for imitation. He's too loving to let you marry potential when He has prepared purpose. There is a weight to divine connection, a holy gravity. It pulls you toward destiny. You'll feel it not just in the moments of romance, but in the quiet hours when no one is watching, and yet something about their presence gives you strength. You'll pray with them and the heavens will move. You'll speak life into each other and feel the Spirit of God rest in the room. Because when God is in it, it's not just a relationship, it's a ministry. Some people come into your life to teach you, to shape you, to challenge you, and some come to stay. But the one God sends, there will be a knowing, not always loud, not always immediate, but deep. A knowing that says, sis is home. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. They will understand the language of your soul. They will protect what's sacred in you. And when you feel tempted to hide, they will call you out, not with shame, but with love. God doesn't just send someone to meet your expectations. He sends someone to reflect His heart. You'll see His kindness in their gentleness, His mercy in their forgiveness, His joy in their laughter, and His strength in their silence. That's how you'll know. Because when the world presses in and your knees grow weak, they'll kneel beside you and remind you how to pray. Not because they're perfect, but because they're submitted. Not because they have all the answers, but because they walk with the one who does. When God wants you with someone, He'll teach you how to love without fear. Without constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if they'll stay. Without constantly questioning your worth. Because their love will be rooted in something deeper than attraction. It will be grounded in covenant. Covenant says, choose you, not just when it's easy, but when it costs me something. I choose you,